Hey everyone, welcome back. In this video tutorial, I'm going to show you how to design the CO2 rocket body here. So this middle portion right here. So let's go ahead and get started. Coming up to File, and let's start a new design. First thing we want to do is change our document settings from inches, so click here, to millimeters, since we're going to be 3D printing these. Next, let's go ahead and start a sketch here on our XY plane. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead now and grab my circle tool. I'm going to drag out a circle with a diameter of 28 millimeters. I'm going to hit enter. That's going to do it for this sketch. I'm going to finish my sketch and we're going to extrude this guy out a distance of 85 millimeters and select OK. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to come over here to our origin and we're going to select our YZ plane here, and then we're going to start a sketch on that YZ plane. Okay. And then, so we want to see the inside of this, and to see the inside of this on our sketch plane, we're going to select slice. Okay, so we just basically sliced it open right down. So what we need to do now is we need to create a hollow area in this cylinder for our 16-gram CO2 tank. All right, so to do that, the first thing we're going to do is come up to create, and let's go ahead and project some geometry. Project, and I'm just going to select bodies here, and then I'm going to click on this guy and select OK. Now I'm just going to go ahead and draw a line out from here, all right, all the way to the other side. So I had this line going right down the middle, and we're going to revolve around this line later. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and hit escape, and I'm going to start drawing out the profile, or this hollow section. So the first thing I'm going to do now is to come up to create, and I'm going to go to my arc tool, 3-point arc, and right in this, on this line, somewhere in this area right here, I'm going to click here, I'm going to click here, and I'm just going to drag out an arc, something that looks like this. I'm going to dimension it. I'm going to zoom in so you guys can see better here. I'm going to dimension it so that it's 12 millimeters that way, and it looks kind of funky, but that's okay. And it's 12 meters or 12 millimeters this way. Okay, and now I'm going to click here and here, and I want it to be a distance of 4.5 from that edge. So now it's exactly where I want it. Okay. So now hopefully you have this arc right here that's 12 millimeters in length. Now I'm going to come on up here to my line tool, and I'm going to drag out a line here that is 51 millimeters in length. I'm going to just type in 51, hit enter. Okay. And let's see here. I do want to make sure that it's parallel with this line. Okay. So we're good. Now we're going to come on up here and grab our arc tool again. We're going to create another 3-point arc. So I'm going to start it here. When you create an arc, you click once, click a second time where you want to end the arc, and I'm just going to kind of click in this general area over here, and then you use your mouse to sort of adjust it. And you can't see it very well, but the arc, but it's there. Okay, and I'm going to wait. I'm just going to kind of draw an arc like that. Okay, so I'm going to hit escape so you guys can see it here. I'm going to, there you see it. So it's something like that. And I'm going to come over to my dimension tool now, and I want to dimension this distance right here to be 11. Okay, and I'm going to come to my tangent constraint, and I want to make this tangent to that. Okay, so I have something that looks like this. Now I'm going to come over to create again and do yet another 3-point arc. And this one's going to come right here and come to this edge line right here where my X shows up. And it's going to be something like this. Okay, I'm going to hit escape so you guys can see it better. So you have this arc right here, this blue line. All right, now let's add a dimension here. We're gonna from this distance to this distance, it should be 3 millimeters. All right, and then we're going to come up to our tangent constraint. We want to make this arc tangent to that arc. So we're going to click here and then click there. All right, and now we have this nice smooth transition here. Okay. So we should have two tangent constraints, this one and that one. And the last dimension we want to add is from here to here. We want that distance to be 5. Okay, so you should end up, when you're done, I'm going to hit escape to take me out of dimension mode. You should end up with a line that sort of flows like this. Okay, And the last thing we need to do now is to connect our loop. So I'm going to draw a line from here to here. Okay, and then I'm going to come over to my trim tool and I'm just going to trim that little distance right there. Okay, so our sketch is looking pretty good. I want to add one more tangent constraint from here to here. Okay, I'm going to hit escape, and so you should have something that looks like this. When you're all done, hopefully you have something that looks exactly like that. Okay, so when you're done and you have something with all the tangent constraints and all these dimensions, let's go ahead and finish our sketch. Now we're going to come to create, and then we're going to come on down to revolve. Okay, and it's going to say, hey, what's your profile? Let's select that, and we're going to select this guy right here. And it says, hey, what's the axis you want to revolve around? So I'm going to select that guy. I want to do the center axis right there. And we want to cut. So that'll hollow out this portion here and hit OK. And now we have, if you look in here, we have this hollowed out portion for our CO2 tank. Pretty cool, huh? Now let's go ahead and start a sketch here on this face right here. And then we're going to drag out a circle with a diameter of 16 millimeters. That's it for this sketch. Let's finish it. And we're going to extrude out this portion right here, a distance of 11 millimeters. Okay, then we're going to come to create, and we're going to come on down to thread, and we want to make these threads on this portion right here, we want them to be M16 threads. So we're going to come on over here. Let's go to modeled. That's important. Check that box. And we're going to go to size. We're going to come on down to where is it? Well, let's just click there and see what happens. And it already adds them automatically. Look at that. So we want M16. We want them to be right-handed. And go ahead and select OK. Looking good. Now we need to make the same thing on this other side here. So let's come on over here. Start a sketch here. OK, same thing. 16 millimeter diameter circle. Finish sketch. Extrude out 11 millimeters. And once again, I'm going to click on that face. I'm going to come over to create, and we're going to go to thread, and we're going to do the same type of thread, M16 by 2. That's our pitch, okay, 2. And then we're going to make it right-handed, and make sure you check modeled and select OK. And one of the last things we need to do in order to get these threads to work for 3D printing, if we don't do anything right now to them, we just leave them the way they are, these threads will not work. So we need to modify them slightly. So I'm going to come and show you how to modify them. We're going to come on up here to press pull, and I'm going to click on this face right there, and I'm going to type in minus 0.4 millimeters. Okay, that'll move it back a little bit. Hit OK. The next thing I'm going to do now is make our threads a little thinner. So I'm going to click on this face right here. And once again, I'm going to type in minus 0.4. Okay, this has essentially just shrunken down our threads now. So there's a wider gap between them, so they'll fit better. So let's do the same thing on the other side. And our 3D printed parts should fit together very well after doing this. So let's repeat this process. Go to press pull. I'm going to click on that face, type in minus 0.4 millimeters, hit OK. And then one more time on this face right here, minus 0.4 millimeters. Okay, and select OK. Okay, now our threads are looking good. Okay, so we're done with that part. We have one more thing. All right, so the last thing we need to do now is to split this thing in half, essentially. So we have two parts from this. So we're going to come up to split. It's going to say, hey, what's your body to split? And it's this whole thing. And it's going to say, hey, well, let's use the splitting tool here to select our, okay, YZ axis. And this big circle is going to show up so you can see how it splits it. We're going to select OK. All right, now if you come to bodies here and you click this little arrow here, you can see, okay, we take the visibility off. Here's one part, which is what we want. And here's our hollow cavity, right? And then we can turn the visibility back on and switch for that one. So we need two parts though. So what we're going to do is we're going to uncheck body 2. We're going to delete body 2. Actually, let's just save this first. We're going to call it rocket body. Okay. Hit save. I'm going to call it video. Okay. And then hit save. All right, so now that we've split them, let's go ahead now and modify them, and we're going to go ahead and change the physical material. So I'm going to come on down to plastic. I'm going to select ABS plastic and I'm going to drag it to both sides. Okay, so we have two parts here, so you got to drag it to both of them, hit close. Now let's change the appearance. I'm going to make them a nice glossy black, so I'm going to go down to paint, select uh, glossy black. I'm going to drag it to both sides. Okay, hit close. Now that that's done, I'm going to come over here to body. I'm going to right click move, and we're just going to move it up and over just a little bit. Okay, so we can distinguish between the two of them. Okay, I'm going to rotate it too just a little bit. Let's just leave it like that. Okay, go ahead and select OK. Now I'm going to come over to this face over here. Okay, I'm going to click on that face and I'm going to go ahead now and delete it just by dragging out a square here. I'm going to finish my sketch and I'm going to extrude it so I remove one side of this. Okay, so I'm going to call this guy file, save as, rocket body video, rocket body left. Okay, and hit save. All right, now I'm going to delete this guy. I'm going to delete these two. Okay, now I'm going to click on this face and I'm going to do the same thing. Drag out a square, finish sketch, extrude. Okay, hit OK. Come on over here now to file, save as, rocket body right. Okay, and hit save. So now we have, if you come on over to your data panel, you should see a right and a left part here, which is what we want. Okay, once you have all three files saved, you're all finished. That'll do it for this video. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.